Welcome to Coach's Corner, everybody. Thanks for watching the show. I'm your host, Coach Tripp, along with my buddy, Mark Hobley.
Peace.
Coach Hobbs, and we got a special guest today, Bucky Stringfellow. Coach Bucky. Coach, thanks very much for joining the show today.
Thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Coach, we got so much to talk about. I don't even know where to start. But let's start at the beginning, okay? I like to start so people can get to know you a little bit. Talk about where you grew up, your mom and your dad, and any siblings.
Well, I grew up on the west side of Pensacola, area called Sanders Beach, down around Cypress and I Street and J. In that neighborhood down there, I went to St. Stephen's Parochial School and then went to Catholic High School. So I spent the most of my younger life, down there.
Wow. Talk about any siblings growing up. Did you have any brothers, sisters?
Yeah, I had 3 sisters. They were younger than myself. And there was 4 kids total in the family. So it was, back in those days, it was a little tough, but, we survived. My parents were great parents to us. They really were.
You coached for many, many years. So let's talk about your sports youth career. How did you play multiple sports as a kid, and what was your favorite?
I did. I played from when I was young. I played a lot of baseball, and when I went to Catholic High, I played football the first year, but I thought I was kind of small, so I didn't play anymore after that. Then I continued playing baseball and basketball through my high school career. I got a scholarship to Pensacola Junior College playing basketball, and then from there I went to St. Bernard College and finished my college career there.
Sorry, we got an unruly mascot dog here, man. He's a little bit, he's a little bit wild. He's a little bit puppy wild. Coach, well, thanks. Talk about how you got into coaching. Where'd you go to school, and how did you get into coaching? Because you coached so many schools. I coached with you at Catholic for 8-10 years. Hobbs, you coached Hobbs at Washington High
for 2 years.
For 2 years,
yeah. Football.
Yeah. To be truthful, when I was a sophomore at Pensacola Junior College, I took a course in education, and I liked it. I liked everything about the course, and the professor was very influential in my decision to go on to teaching. And then when I went to St. Bernard College, I decided to major in education and minor in physical ed, and I did practice teaching when I was up there and really enjoyed it. And when I graduated from college, I got a job in the business world for a little while, but I just wasn't happy. And I can't remember how the opportunity came at Catholic High School for the head coaching basketball job, but I applied for that and was fortunate enough to be hired for that job.
Wow. All right. Who was your mentor in basketball? Who did you learn from? Where did you get your drills from? Who taught you how to handle the players? I mean, was that your first coaching job, the head coaching job at Catholic?
Yeah, I got broke in real quick. There was the football coach over there at the time was Jim Payne, and I was his assistant as a junior varsity coach. Mm-hmm. And I learned a lot of football from Jim. Basketball wise, I had a guy, trying to think of his name. It'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, he was an ex-Marine lieutenant, and he was really hardcore. Real tough guy, old school.
Right.
And I got a lot of thought and inspiration through him. And the guy also my first year, Tom, you know who he is. Played a lot of tennis in Pensacola before he passed. Anyway, he was my first year coach there. He was a little All-American in basketball, and I got a lot of stuff from him also.
Right.
So both two guys were really my two first go-to guys. And I did a lot of book reading also in trying to pick up stuff.
Yes. I'm glad you mentioned that, Coach. When I was coaching, I was always looking for a book from a great coach, and we're actually we should do a segment, sports books worth reading. Because those books, you learn so much from great coaches. I remember, I don't understand why a lot of coaches didn't pick up Gene Stallings and Bear Bryant's 1961 book, How to Build a Championship Team. They gave you the script right there, and I don't know why people didn't follow it. I don't know, it makes a good coach. Everybody copies everything. I didn't learn anything. I had my old DB coach on from, or I didn't, invent anything. I learned so much. My DB coach from Alabama I had on last week, Lewis Campbell. He taught me 90% of all the stuff that I taught my kids. And, in high school, I didn't learn anything in high school from my coaches. All my pro coaches didn't add anything to Lewis Campbell's repertoire. So my best coach was from him. All right. So what year was it you got the head coaching basketball job at Catholic?
Back in 1966. But I want you reminded me. I read a book called "Basketball Is My Life" by Bob Cousy, and you probably never read that book, but it's really an interesting book. But anyway, I started in '66, and I was there 11 years, and I'm very fortunate to have some great basketball players that I got to coach there. I was very fortunate, especially with Sam McCants, of course.
Yeah, we're gonna bring Sam up.
Yes, we got it. Yes.
Yeah, God rest his soul. He passed away a few weeks ago.
He did.
Yeah.
But I attended his funeral, as a matter of fact.
Did you?
Yes.
Well, let's
see his sister.
Let's talk about that season in Sam McCants. He finished with 3,333 points. That's right. You heard it right. You guys were 33-1 that year. Okay. Is it true he scored 51 points in the semi and 48 in the final?
That is correct.
Coach, I want to add
without a 3-point line.
Yes. Coach, I want to add.
No, there was no 3-point line. If there'd have been a 3-point line, it's no telling what his career stat would have been. It's just no telling.
Coach,
because everything he shot was, just about on the arc back in those days.
Coach, when I left Washington High School after my first year of teaching, I went to Pompano Beach, Florida. Okay. And I don't know which one of them, did you beat them in the finals or the semifinals? Pompano Beach.
The semis.
The semis. So I went to Pompano Beach, Ely. Coach, I walk out there. There are 5 NFL players on the field. 5.
Good Lord. Huh.
Yes, 5. And they won 3 games. 3 games.
Kidding.
They got Ely won 3 football games, and they got 5 on the NFL. You got Zach Crockett, you got Henry Crockett, you got Ty Merritt, Dew Innocent. One guy was a black Chippendale. I turned on the TV. He was on Ellen. I swear to God, he was on Ellen. His name's Shango. Shango, I'll never forget his name. Shango Sheffield. He's on Ellen DeGeneres show. So, and it was one more other guy. Oh, Al Harris. So Al Harris' dad was the school resource officer, and Al played for he played for he played for Green Bay Packers. Shenard Harris played for the Green Bay Packers and Philadelphia Eagles. And when I walked up there, and that guy found out I was from Pensacola, and he said, "Who is Sutton Deaf? Sutton somebody?" He said it was Sutton somebody. His son is going to the NFL. He didn't care about that. He wanted to know who was Sutton Sam from Pensacola, Florida in what was that, 1971?
71.
He wanted to know about that guy. He didn't care about Derek Brooks as who's going to be the best player in the country. None of that. He wanted to know who Sudden Sam was. And and I was taken in from that moment on when I got to Pompano Beach, Florida, because I knew who Sudden Sam was.
Yeah. Well, whenever we were playing that last season, especially, we had to go to places like we couldn't play in our gym because it was too small.
Yes.
We had to go to Escambia and play over there. I mean, it was, I couldn't tell you the places were, everywhere we went, it was just packed. You know, we went to Defuniak Springs one night and the coach held the ball. He would not go up and down the court. The final score was 27-14. But anyway, the place was packed and the people were booing. And I thought they were booing us, but they were booing him because he wouldn't play.
They wanted to see Sam.
They want to see Sam. Come on, man.
They wanted to
Don't
see
be doing this to us.
That's right.
God. That's hilarious, Coach. Hey, is it also true? I think I remember this story. You told me or somebody did years ago. Let me know if it's true. You went over there to Jacksonville and like buses and buses of nuns and priests showed up from Florida.
There could have been.
That somebody told me that actually happened. I guess it was one of the games that you played over in Jacksonville. Somebody said it was in Jacksonville.
The state finals was in Jacksonville.
Was it?
True.
Yes, right.
Yes.
Yes,
buses and buses of priests and nuns. Did you notice there was like a lot of nuns and priests in the stands that night?
Well, we had over 1,000 people follow us from Pensacola back in 71.
Right.
So,
and you played in the Jacksonville Coliseum at that time.
That's correct.
Oh my gosh! Did you really?
Yes.
So it was packed. It was probably packed.
It was packed. It was funny. There was one coach that we played somewhere in the playoffs, and he said, "I believe that we can run with Catholic High any day of the week." And I think the final score was like 98-60 something. You know, I mean, he ran his mouth, and that wasn't a very smart thing to do.
No.
Wait a minute. I talked to Coach Mike Harris, who we coached with, and he played for you, man. And he said you were a tough son of a gun, man. And you guys were always in shape, right? You were big on running the guys, and I remember that. But talk about. Did you learn that from the military guy, that officer, that military officer, to run the guy?
His name was Bill Clendenin. I just remember.
Oh, good.
Yes. He was Paul. He was tough as nails. I can't even tell you. We did a drill one day. If you want to listen to this, how to recover a loose ball on the basketball floor.
Right.
He poured a bucket of water on the floor, then put a ball in the middle of it, and put 2 lines at each end of the water, blew the whistle, and he ran full speed to the ball. I mean, that's crazy. Can you imagine doing that today?
Right.
That reminds me, you talk about crazy coaching stories. One just popped up in my head. My Wednesday night show, I had Blaze Winter and Bill Pendock on, who played for George O'Leary longer than anybody on this earth. Pendock played 7 years for him, and Blaze played 6. And they said one time it was 29 degrees, just below freezing. And O'Leary went out and watered the football field and made him put on shorts and T-shirts and bear crawl up and down the field.
Oh, God. Good.
That's some torture there, boy.
Hey, Coach, we might have one. You remember that night we got beat in the Jamboree, and Burleson made us come back to the school, and he made us belly flop out there after the Jamboree. And he had Jimmy Halstead was on crutches, and he had him out there too. Okay, they had him out in the dark. We didn't even have, we didn't have lights on the practice field.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and this was after we got beat 3-0 in the jamboree. One quarter, 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Burleson was tough.
He was
tough nail.
Coach, he was really, really tough. But, Coach, we had guys that left there and went and excelled in the Marines. We didn't win many football games, but those guys, hey, I tell you what, a lot of guys are grateful for what we went through, for what you guys put us through.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I tell you, I really enjoyed working over there. I really did. You know, the kids were great. The kids were really good over there. You know, y'all gave it everything you had. I remember the one night we were over in Gulf Breeze, and Halstead, it was a timeout, and Halstead came off the field, and his helmet was halfway around his head. Somebody had knocked him, crazy. He comes running over there. They straightened his helmet out, and, he goes back out there, I said, good Lord,
Those Halstead boys, man.
Coach, what about that night we went to Quincy, Florida, and we played we got there like 8 o'clock in the morning, and Coach Burleson wouldn't let us out the locker room until it was time for pregame. He kept us in the locker room for like 11 hours because we were so small. We were so small, he didn't want them to see us during the regular day. He didn't even want us to see us. He didn't want them to see us.
No, he didn't want you to see them.
Well, we knew they were big. But they beat the team. Coach, they beat the team that beat us 76-0.
Good night.
Coach,
you remember that? They beat Darby 76-0 the year before, and we turned around and beat them the next year.
Yeah.
Coach, how many schools did you coach at here in the area?
3.
Gulf Breeze,
Catholic, Gulf Breeze, and Washington. Yeah. Yes.
We had some good teams at Catholic too, boy, didn't we, Coach?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gosh, the state semifinal game. I remember it rained, and we didn't condition Monday and Tuesday, and I was kind of worried about us, because we didn't condition. I love Coach Seibert, but he didn't condition like some of our coaches did, Coach.
Right.
Right. I was like, I think we ran out of gas in the fourth quarter of that game. But that was old school. Your son Mark was a good player, man, a great basketball player. He averaged like 21 points a game at Gulf Breeze, and then went to Troy. Talk about what Mark's doing now.
He is teaching physical education at Gulf Breeze Middle School. He's got 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. They're all grown, and his boys were really good athletes too. They had good careers, and his daughter was a real good athlete also. Oh
wow, holy cow! All right, Coach. So in 1971, when you won the state title, Catholic's only state title in basketball, you guys weren't allowed to dunk. Yeah, you weren't allowed to dunk, but you had like 3 or 4 guys that could dunk. It was unheard of for a high school team.
Well, y'all remember Mike Stanfield?
Yes,
he played center for me. He was 6'4", about 260, 250, and he also played football at University of Florida.
Right.
And one night he went up on the rim, and I thought he was going to tear it down when he grabbed it, But he actually cut his finger, pretty good cut.
Oh, geez.
But back in those days, the rims were not collapsible, and he grabbed that thing, and I thought everything was going to come down. But he was a heck of an athlete to be that big, playing basketball and football.
Right.
He really was. Yeah.
Coach, Coach, that 33 in 1 year, who was your only loss to? Was it to Washington?
Yeah, Washington. Yep.
Was that the night that Steve Williams held Sam to 10 points?
It could have been. I don't remember it, but
that's the greatest game in Pensacola history.
Was it?
Is that right?
One of them. They named the floor after Steve Williams a couple of weeks ago. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Coach, they named it. They named it after Steve. But yes, I think that is one of the greatest games they ever talk about around here. Sam lit a lot of people up, but to hold Sam McCants to 10 points, and I think that was the only game that they lost that year. Right. And Washington, don't forget, Washington lost their first game of the year to Pensacola High, and they ended up winning the state championship, I think, by 52 as well.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's what.
they had a great team. They really did. That was a good rivalry back in those days.
Coach, like he said, he couldn't play in his gym.
Coach, football has had its ebbs and flows, and I guess every year it changes a little bit. But we've got a great tradition of football players in this area, and we've had a few good basketball players. But how come basketball hasn't produced as much as football? You got a theory or anything on why?
I really don't have any idea on that. I wish I did. But I know there's just been, several that have come out of this area. And when you include, Crestview and Niceville and some of those schools. But that's a good question, Paul.
Tom Hammond.
Tom Hammond, I remember him very well.
Yeah.
Coached against him in Gulf Breeze. Good basketball.
Wow.
Yep.
All right. Well,
he was a monster.
Yes.
Coach, Ohio State and Notre Dame for the national championship in football. I think it's Ohio State's year. Notre Dame, you got to be impressed with what Coach Freeman has done at Notre Dame. I'm going to take Ohio State and give up the 8.5 points. Who you got in the championship game, Coach?
I kind of have to agree with you. Ohio State.
They look so good throughout the year. I can't believe. And let's face it, Ohio State was an 8th seed and Notre Dame was a 7th seed. So there were upsets. Hobbs, like, there's only 2 or 3. I have to get on Hobbs all the time. He's like, there's only 2 or 3 teams that can win it. And I'm like, no, there isn't. These guys, there's a bunch of teams.
They were seeded wrong.
They were seeded wrong.
That's awful. If you got Oregon seeded number 1, they're not even a top 10 team. Oregon's not even top 10. How do you have them ranked number 1? That's ridiculous.
All right, NFL playoffs.
I got Notre Dame.
You got Notre Dame?
I'm taking
Notre Dame
close.
All right.
Ryan Day will lose it.
All right.
I hope it's a good game.
Huh?
Yeah.
Y'all think it'll be a close game?
If it's a close game, Notre Dame will win.
Hey, there's 8 teams left in the NFL playoffs, Coach, and one of our players, Jeremy Reeves, is playing.
That's right.
Angie and I went over to New Orleans to watch him play a few weeks ago against the Saints. What a joy that was. He checks all
I see him. I work at a marina over here at Gulf Breeze, and he has a good friend that has a boat over here, and occasionally he'll come by, and I always get a chance to talk to him and get an update on him. He's a great young man, really is.
Hey, tell him to call Coach Tripp, will you? Next time you see him, tell him to call Coach.
Okay,
Tripp.
I'll see you this summer.
Just got engaged.
Just got engaged to a Milton girl.
He did, yeah. I saw
Went
that.
viral. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's up. So Houston at Kansas City. I think Kansas City in a romp in this one. I think everybody agrees. Although that Houston defense is impressive, though, right, Coach?
Yeah, I like Mahomes. He's a winner.
Too. Yeah, I do too.
He's a winner.
But defense wins championships. So
you're right.
DeMarco, he's doing the right things. All right, Washington, Jeremy, they're going to Detroit. What a coaching job that guy has done in Detroit. They almost put him out for the pasture, out to die. But he's a great coach, and I don't know. I think that's going to be a close one. I'll take Detroit by a field goal.
I have to agree with you on that one also.
Okay.
They're pretty tough.
Yeah.
All right, everybody's on board there. LA Rams at Philly. This might be a tough one. I just like the Rams, how they're playing lately. Phillies can't seem to score a lot of points. Even though it's at Philly, I'm going to take the Rams at the last possession of the game.
I like Philly. I like the quarterback. He's an Alabama boy.
Yeah, he is. All right, what do you got, Hobbs?
I like defense. I like Philly. Defense wins championships.
Hey, you're right. Their defense is outstanding.
Their defense wins championships.
Yep, it does. Still does. Doesn't matter. Even in this day and age of all these points in offense, defense still wins. Baltimore at Buffalo. You talk about a defense versus offense. I think only because it's at Baltimore. I think it's Baltimore's year or Buffalo's year. But Baltimore has been itching for a championship since they won one 20 years ago. Ozzie Newsome. I had Ozzie Newsome on my
Yeah.
show. I had Ozzie on my show last night, and we talked about how bad they want to win one.
Yeah. I like Baltimore.
Okay.
You know, they're one of my favorite teams.
Who you got, Hobbs?
I think Buffalo's going to do it. The pressure's on Baltimore. I think more so than Buffalo.
Right.
And the same way with football, pressure's on Ohio State.
Coach, thanks so much for being on the show. It was great to see you and catch up with you again.
Hey, great to see both of y'all. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, Coach.
calling.
Have
Good
a
to
great
see you, Hobbs.
week. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, Coach, thank you for what you did 45 years ago. Like
Yeah.
I said, some of us, we got together in that reunion, and thank you. Like you said, what were we, the Fighting 22 or the
Absolutely. Y'all were tough. No
That
doubt.
was awful. Coach, thank you for even
Yeah,
putting
thank
up
you.
with us.
Yeah, thank you for all you did for all the kids
Yes.
that you positively impacted, Coach.
Basketball,
Yeah.
football,
Yeah,
even your kids.
Yeah, we love you for that.
Yes, Coach. Thank you.
All right, good to see both of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, another great guest.
Man,
another,
you keep
special
putting them in
person.
there. Coach, you keep putting them on there.
Thanks, man. Bucky Stringfellow is one of a kind, and
Yes.
he's. We forgot to talk about his lifeguarding days, man.
Maybe.
I don't think he wanted. I think that could be talked about off camera. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
so.
we're good. But
All right.
great.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy these messages from these great sponsors. Without them, this just wouldn't be possible. So long, everybody.
Bye. Rest in peace, Sam.
Arbitrium Consulting for all your fencing, landscaping, pressure washing, tree trimming needs. Call 850-483-0350 for your free estimates. Serving Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, Destin, Perdido, Gulf Shores, Foley, and the entire Gulf Coast. Arbitrium Consulting is owner-operated, fully licensed and insured. Call today, 850-483-0350, the official landscaper of Coach's Corner.
Hey, Bama fans, this is Will Moore, president of the Pensacola Bama Club. You can find us at PensacolaBamaClub.com. We are your official alumni chapter in the Pensacola and surrounding areas. Membership is available to all alumni and all Bama fans, so come see us at one of our many events throughout the year. Our Bama football watch parties are the next best thing to being in Bryant-Denny Stadium. We even serve authentic stadium hot dogs. Membership, event, and contact information will be found on our website at PensacolaBamaClub.com. Roll Tide.
For over 30 years, you have seen the orange Beck signs all over the Gulf Coast listing a property for sale or lease. Beck Partners is your trusted advisor in commercial real estate, property management, commercial and personal insurance. Senior Vice President David Valletto has been with Beck Partners since 1989. Take advantage of his wealth of knowledge by calling him today at 982-7352. 982-7352. Extensive experience in all aspects of leasing, sales, management, and site selection will make sure your expectations are exceeded.
Did you know there's a place where you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates on your home and auto insurance? Yep, and that place is, ta-da, State Farm. Here's the deal. State Farm agent Will Rentschler is your go-to agent in Pensacola, Florida for the service you deserve at the price that you want. So stop shopping around. State Farm agent Will Rentschler has you covered. Call 850-433-4678 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Legal disclaimer, individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.